Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating, and that will be our episode rating.
This is Film Therapy, as always.
Hello.
I am one of your hosts. I am joined by the other host, and this is Film Therapy. Today, we watched a Wes Anderson picture called The Grand Budapest Hotel. And I say picture because it's Wes Anderson, and you gotta be proper because his style is very amazing.
I love it. And he was like, I don't know. I think when a lot of people start getting into quote film, they're like
Cinema.
Wes Anderson, and they're like, oh my gosh, Wes Anderson is the best. He's a magician. He's the greatest. I'm guilty of that too. Like as I first started film school, I was like, oh my gosh, Wes Anderson's the best. And but I still really do like him. Like I like a lot of his movies, and a lot of his short films too they leave me in a state of awe. And he does a lot of like ads, but short films. If you've seen like the short films they do for really big fashion brands like Prada and stuff, that sometimes they have those like short films that are actually commercials, but they're like really, really, really well done. So this one, it has Natalie Portman and Jason Schwartzman. It's called Hotel Chevalier Kurzfilm.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Oh my gosh, it's just like, it's amazing. And then the song they play in it is one of my favorite songs ever. And it's only about 13 minutes, but it's worth a watch. Maybe we can put that in the description. But that one really inspired me, and then I got into Wes Anderson, of course. But
yeah, so Grand Budapest Hotel. I really don't have too much to say. I thought the movie was all right. I didn't really emotionally connect to the story or the characters, which is weird because I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the journey we went on, and I laughed a lot, and the visual design is immaculate. Just the way the movie's filmed and the production and the art direction is so exquisite and fantastical, and I love it. But then the story, I was just like, it was a thing. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I need to see it again.
I agree. I can do the recap if you'd like.
What is the point of doing a recap? I guess if someone hasn't seen the movie and they want to listen, but wouldn't they just skip over the episode and listen to the movies they've only seen?
I don't know.
Do you think people do that? Hey, does anybody do that?
Yeah, leave us a comment. Do you like
haven't seen the movie?
Our recap? Do you listen to the episode if you haven't seen the movie? Because should we not waste our time with the recap? Or
I mean, not to discredit your recaps because you do a great job, but I just didn't know if it was worth it.
I mean, I enjoy it when I listen to podcasts that I haven't seen in a while and they do recaps, but they also do it in a different way. That sometimes they do like they start with the beginning and then they talk about the beginning and then they move on to the next section and then they kind of recap the next section and then they talk about it.
So the movie is a bunch of Wes Anderson characters doing a bunch of Wes Anderson things in a bunch of Wes Anderson locations, and the locations are absolutely glorious, as is the cast and the acting. That's your recap.
All right, there we go. Yeah, so let us know if you want the recaps or you don't like the recaps or whatever. Please.
If you do, since you spent time on it, if you do want a recap, I'm not gonna say you can't. I'm not gonna be like, oh, don't do it. But I just mean,
Okay, I'll do it this time, and then we'll see if we get any feedback.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, because this is kind of a confusing movie.
I was confused.
All right, so we start with a statue of a writer, and then we move on.
Oh, you're going deep. Okay.
To that writer.
We start with a statue. We pan over to this.
Yes.
You're just reading the script.
We start with the statue of a writer. Then we go into this writer talking to a camera crew about his writing, and this is supposed to be in 1985, I believe. And then we go back in time to 1968, I believe, and his voice changes into a younger version of himself, played by Jude Law, and he's the narrator of this part of the story. He talks about being at the Grand Budapest Hotel. So he stays there, and he meets the owner of the hotel named Mustafa Zero Mustafa. And he has dinner with him where Mustafa tells him a story about how he came to own the hotel. So then it switches to Mustafa being the narrator, and we go back even farther in time to when Mustafa was a young man and he became a lobby boy at the Grand Budapest Hotel, who was owned by Monsieur Gustave. Monsieur Gustave. And he enjoyed making love to old women.
What a beautiful way to put it. What an eloquent way to put it.
Thank you.
Well played.
And so they discovered that one day one of his favorite old women had died. Her name is Madame D, played by Tilda Swinton, who we were very confused about for a second because she looks hella old, but it was just like excellent makeup skills. So very good makeup department. And so then he goes to her funeral and will reading, where he is left a painting of hers, a very valuable painting called Boy with Apple. And all of his family, all of Madame D's family members are very mad at him. They're like, why did he get Boy with Apple? And Gustave and Zero steal the painting and run for their lives. Later, Gustave is then arrested for the murder of Madame D, who they found out was poisoned. So now Gustave is in prison, and Zero has to help get him out with the help of his girlfriend, Agatha, played by Saoirse Ronan. Willem Dafoe and Adrien Brody play sons of the deceased Madame D, who are trying to get after Gustave after he escapes using digging tools that Saoirse Ronan made into little cookies and baked goods that she sent to the prison. We don't know who actually killed Madame D for a while, but it turns out to be Adrien Brody's character, Dimitri. So then Willem Dafoe's character is coming after Gustave and Zero, and it looks like he's going to kill Gustave, but then Zero pushes him off a cliff, and Gustave and Zero escape back to the Budapest Hotel, which has been overtaken by Nazi-style policemen. There they find Saoirse Ronan, who is taking the Boy with Apple painting out so that she can meet them and they can run off and live happily ever after. But they all get captured, and they have a gunfight. Saoirse Ronan and Zero fall out of a window into a baked goods truck. Gustave escapes. They all escape. They find a letter in the back of Boy with Apple saying it was a second will, saying that Madame D had left Gustave everything, including the Grand Budapest Hotel. And then older Zero, the narrator, comes back out into present time when he's talking to Jude Law, and he talks about the soon deaths of Agatha and their young child a couple years after they got married, and then the death of Gustave after he got shot by trying to protect Zero, and that's how he inherited the Grand Budapest Hotel. And then the writer, we know, wrote the story of Zero's story, telling about how he came to own the Grand Budapest Hotel. So it's like a lot of levels in there. It starts off very confusing, like, who's the protagonist? I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think it's a like two protagonists of Gustave and Zero.
Yeah, because Zero is like the outside protagonist, but then once we're in his story, Gustave is the protagonist.
Yeah.
And sorry, Gustave is played by Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes. And Zero, young Zero, is played by, I already forgot his name.
He's Flash from Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Tony Revolori. So this was nominated for Best Writing, Original Screenplay, Film Editing, Cinematography, Directing, Best Motion Picture of the Year, Production Design, Music written for Motion Pictures, Original Score, Makeup and Hairstyling, Costume Design. And it won 4 out of those 8. So it won Costume Design, Makeup and Hairstyling, Music written for Motion Pictures, and Production Design.
What won Cinematography, I wonder? I'm going to look that up.
And yeah, that was in the year 2015.
What else came out in 2015? Force Awakens. So it was Ida, Mr. Turner, Unbroken, and Birdman. Birdman's got good cinematography. But Grand Budapest Hotel, it changes aspect ratios. So I got to give that one to Grand Budapest.
I think Birdman, because it was shot in all one shot, seemingly.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's true. Yeah. I liked Birdman. I've only seen it once, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, same.
My God, just the visuals in this movie are just so. It's beyond words. It's breathtaking. It's inspiring. It's like how. Like okay, I know there's a whole team of people working on a movie, but it's Wes Anderson's style, and I'm like, how are you so detail oriented with everything, with colors, with designs, with patterns, with with the different ratios that you film in? You have to keep that in mind, and with the interior and exterior locations, and just the mise en scène. Yeah, that and the rule of thirds, and just how are you able to focus on all of those things and make them all as perfect as he does? Like the only other Wes Anderson movie I've seen is Moonrise Kingdom, but that also just his visual style is so, like, obviously it's what he's most well known for, but it's just so beyond breathtaking that you can't even. It's like every single shot of this movie you could put up on your wall.
Yes.
It's so fucking good. I can't even like I can't even just put it in words. It is beyond words. It's so amazing, which is why I was like about feeling about the story.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I feel the same way.
Because I remember, and I'm not going to spend the whole time comparing, but the only thing I have to compare it to as of now is Moonrise Kingdom, and I just remember the story of that just being like very good.
Yes.
So, but I haven't seen that in years, so my opinion, I'm sure I'll still love it, but I don't have a direct comparison because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But I remember like certain elements of that story. It's like the two kids and they go off on their own, and it's about the troop and. Et cetera, et cetera. And then with this movie, I'm like, I feel like I won't remember the story as much, but I will definitely remember the visuals. So I guess for my personal taste, it was a style over substance movie. But when the style is this good, I kind of don't mind. It just means that it's not a movie I'll rewatch over and over.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, because I told you I had seen this movie not that long ago, and I can't remember what it was. I couldn't remember what it was about. So I agree. I think the story is like way too much. It's got aspects of the Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, like when they escape from prison.
Oh, duh. See, I already forgot they escaped from prison. I just remember like Saoirse Ronan like cutting up the bakery treats, and that's all you need. That's all you need in life.
That was a good scene where the prison guards were chopping into everything coming into the prison, but then they
so great.
Skip over the baked goods because they like looked so pretty.
That was great. I loved that. That made me laugh.
Yeah, there were some funny parts.
Also, I forget the exact moment of the scene, but like it's the scene when I forget the actor's name, but because there's a lot of famous people in this movie, but there's a scene when the gentleman comes up to Gustav and Zero, and he's like, "Good to see you again, Gustav," and he shakes his hand, and then he just goes and slaps Zero in the face, and then he's like, "You'll learn sometime," and I'm just like, that just made me laugh so hard. I'm like, like, what was the point of that? That was just so stupid.
I like the way they use vulgar language in this movie. It just seems like it's very pointed, and
it is
very useful and comedic in the right ways at the right time.
Because I didn't look it up beforehand. I wasn't sure what this movie was rated, and then they use like their cursing, like especially with fuck, they use it so like sparingly, and they just use like it's used quite a bit, especially closer to the end. But even like in the first like 40 minutes or so, they only use it a couple times, and every time they use it is just either really poignant or really funny, or it's done precisely. And I love it when movies do that. I should do that more. But,
me too.
But I'm not a screenplay with a bunch of drafts. I'm a human being, so
that's true.
Fuck it.
We're just talking. Yeah. My favorite one was when Gustav was hanging off the edge of the cliff and Willem Dafoe was kicking the ice down, and he was like Gustav was reciting a beautiful poem.
Yeah,
he was making up, and then Zero pushed Willem Dafoe over the cliff over top of him, and he just stopped saying his poem, and he's like, "Oh shit, you got him."
That was my favorite. That was
great.
That
was great. Yeah, just like so many of the Wes Anderson people were in it, like
Bill Murray,
Owen Wilson, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yes, Jeff Goldblum.
Jason Schwartzman, Edward Norton, Bob Balaban.
Is Tilda Swinton in a lot of Wes Anderson stuff?
She is.
Is she in Moonrise Kingdom? I don't remember. Yes, she is. She's also in Isle of Dogs.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe you didn't see that one.
No, I did. I was going to see it, and then for some reason I didn't. It flew under my radar, but I wanted to see it.
It's free now. A lot of them just got put on Amazon.
It's good to know. Wait, how is she in this movie? I didn't think this movie had any actors. Huh. That's fascinating.
What movie?
It's very fast. There's a movie called Blue, and I haven't seen it, but I'm curious about it. The whole movie is just a blue screen, and like a VHS blue screen. You just hear sounds and music, and it's about the director's like battle with AIDS. I think it was like one of his last movies. Yeah, it was his last movie. And then he died the next year. Yeah, it sounds really intriguing.
Is it new?
No, it's from the 90s. The director's name is Derek Jarman.
Very strange.
Yeah, so that's the movie's called. It's called Blue. And it's about how he, it's about his battle with AIDS, and there's just like, that's apparently what it's about, but I don't know if, like, that's all I know about it.
Is it a feature-length movie?
Yeah, it's like how long? 79 minutes.
Interesting. Yeah, I just like, it was definitely more of like an artsy movie to watch rather than a story movie. It had a great story, like very story-driven, but also wasn't one that I really connected with. Like you said, we didn't really feel very passionate about the characters, and we didn't know who the protagonist was, so we weren't sure who to follow and put our trust in the whole time. But the visuals were extremely well done, and there was something I was going to compare it to. What was it? Series of Unfortunate Events, the TV show.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the movie also, but yeah, that's yeah.
Like the scene with the gondola car that goes up the mountain, and then they switch the mountain cars and they go down. That really reminded me of Series of Unfortunate Events for some reason.
Yeah, me too. That series is really good. I was thinking about that series like yesterday, I think. That's just like I think I would describe the Unfortunate Events Netflix series as probably, I would say it's one of the best book to screen adaptations, because for me anyway, also because I love the books and I love the series, but I think I would say that because it does all the books well, it does them all succinctly, it knows, like, it has some changes, but it keeps the core themes there, and it keeps what it needs to. 3 seasons and you're done. It's so succinct, and anyway, it's a very good adaptation that I recommend, especially if you've read the books or seen the movie and you wish that the other books had been adapted, because each book gets like a feature-length adaptation, except for maybe the last one, but it doesn't really need it.
Yeah, it does it justice.
I want to watch it again. It does do it justice.
I should finish it. I stopped partway through season 2.
Oh, really? Well, I'll watch it all with you. We can start from the beginning, the bad beginning.
The bad beginning.
We can start from the bad beginning and go down. Back to Grand Budapest. I don't have anything to add, so.
The acting is great.
Oh, yeah, the acting's incredible.
Ralph Fiennes is amazing. Yeah, he does an excellent job. He's kind of like very different from Voldemort. And he's very kind of like flamboyant and eloquent and speaks in poems a lot, which is hard to imagine Voldemort speaking like that. It's hard to imagine him as both characters in general, but he does a great job.
He does. Both. He's very good in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also really like the actor who played Zero. He did a great job. And obviously, you have great cameos from Tilda Swinton and Saoirse Ronan and Bill Murray and.
Yes.
Just every time Bill Murray is on screen in anything, it just makes the movie better for 5 minutes, whatever movie it is.
Yeah, you just go like, oh, Bill Murray for like.
That was my reaction. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yes.
Bill Murray. All right, we just need Scarlett Johansson, and then it's a Lost in Translation reunion.
Well, she's in Isle of Dogs with Bill Murray.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if they'd had if you knew of any other movies they'd been in together where they like share a scene. Imagine if someone made a movie with both of them in it and they don't like have a scene together. I'm like, that'd be such a waste. Especially after 2003.
Right. So yeah, Isle of Dogs. Let me see. I can't remember which dog Bill Murray plays, but he's Boss. And then Scarlett Johansson is Nutmeg, which I think is, I can't remember who she's the love interest of, which dog that is, but that's a great movie.
Should I watch it with Nala? Do you think she'd like it?
Oh, yes.
No joke, though. When I actually turn on, like, Planet Earth or something, she'll sit and, like, watch the TV. It's the cutest thing ever.
Aw. So, just for fun, I'm going to rank my favorite Wes Anderson movies for you right now.
Sounds beautiful. Please do so.
Okay, my first one is that short I was talking about, Hotel Chevalier. I don't know how to pronounce French things. Chevalier, maybe? Then the Darjeeling Limited, and then another short called Castello Cavalcanti, and then Moonrise Kingdom, and then The Royal Tenenbaums, then Isle of Dogs, then The Life Aquatic, then Fantastic Mr. Fox, then Rushmore. I haven't seen Bottle Rocket yet, but I think that's the only one I'm missing. I think some people would disagree with my ranking of Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I saw Isle of Dogs before that, and I kind of liked it better just because I saw it before, I guess. But it's still all these movies are like so good. Oh, and I forgot to rank the Grand Budapest Hotel. I'd probably put that under Fantastic Mr. Fox. And yeah, so this is like the only one I own for some reason. I think because I bought it.
It's like one of your lesser favorites.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorites, but I bought it at this discount store, and I hadn't seen it at the time, so I was like, oh, I should just buy it for like $4 or whatever for Blu-ray. So I did, and then I watched it. I was like, oh, well, should have bought the Darjeeling Limited.
A lot of Wes Anderson's movies are on Criterion. Like, I think like 90% of his movies all have Criterion releases, so you know that they're gonna do a good job with that.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sponsored by Criterion. I just think they do a good job, even though they're very highly priced. But at the same time, like, it's kind of worth it because you're getting a premium edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you watch anything this? Actually, yeah, I'm curious what you watched this
week. Hell yeah, bruh!
I
watched
ready.
So much stuff. Let's back it up to Christmas Eve. I watched School of Rock and The Holiday.
That is the greatest double feature of ever. You got Richard Linklater, and then you got a Christmas movie.
Yeah. It was great. And then on Christmas, I watched The Nutcracker Suite featuring Macaulay Culkin.
Why have I not heard of that?
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, you haven't? So
is it like when he's a kid, or is it like now?
It's probably a few years after Home Alone. It's like George Balanchine's Nutcracker, and it's like a movie play. It's kind of interesting. It's like on a stage, but there are also scenes with like visual effects, and there's a bunch of like camera.
Oh wait, I have heard of this. I did not know Macaulay Culkin was in that.
He plays the Nutcracker.
That's great. I want to see this now.
It was really good.
So is it kind of like Cats or Hamilton, where it's like you see the actors performing on the stage? Is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's good. I really liked it. It was the whole Nutcracker thing with all the dancing. Amazing dancing. Very, very good.
Oh, that's great. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was really good. So then to continue Macaulay Culkin-ness, I watched Home Alone and half of Home Alone 2 before I started to fall asleep.
Hey, I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, I know. You said double feature, and then I was like, I'm double featuring.
Yeah, but I mean, I fell asleep halfway through Home Alone 2.
Mm.
And then I turned it off and finished it in the morning.
Yep, me too.
Nice. What did you think rewatching these?
So, it turns out I probably had not seen Home Alone 2.
Oh, okay.
Crazy, I know.
So now you got to see Tim Curry in all his glory.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? I don't care what you thought of the movie. What do you think of Tim Curry in the movie?
Well, he's great.
That's what I want to know. Isn't he just like the greatest thing in any movie ever?
Yeah, he's
in that movie.
Very interesting.
he just like enters the movie, and then the movie's automatically like even better. And then
oh, is this about Tim Curry now? So
like oh, it's Tim Curry, and like he's like the villain for a little while.
Yeah. Just
his facial reaction when he sees like the clown is just so, and also like a Pennywise reference, like when he sees the clown, because this came after it. Because I realized that this time watching, it's like Tim Curry seeing Pennywise, and it's so, and then he runs and like trips on the table and hits his knee. It's so stupid and funny.
So stupid.
And then of course the scene when he's talking to the TV, it's that scene changed my life. Not even kidding.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, what did you think of Home Alone 1 and 2?
They're essentially the same movie.
Because I do care. Yes,
and
I agree.
didn't like watching them back to back because they were the same movie. I like the first one a lot. You know, it's great. It's slapstick, Tom and Jerry, classic cat and mouse, and just crazy traps and everything. But there was also a lot more to it than I realized. I thought like the whole thing was several nights of Macaulay Culkin setting traps for these burglars, but it was more than that. It was like he had his whole scene with the scary neighbor guy with the shovel, and he realizes he's just a sweetheart, and then he overcomes his fears very quickly. He arcs within like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then the rest is just kind of silly. And then
well, I might disagree with you on that, because the scene with Marley is like right before the traps, really, and I think that's
is that the neighbor?
Yeah, that's the neighbor. Old Man Marley is his name.
Okay.
And he also has the little moment with the furnace like halfway through the movie, so I would say
I feel like that was towards the beginning, but
well, it happens once in the beginning, and then he's scared of it, and then later on he's doing laundry, and then he's like, "Shut up."
Yeah. So then he becomes brave, but then I guess in the end he forgives his family and loves them again. But then in the second movie he's back to hating his family, so I guess he didn't really change.
It's Buzz's fault.
It is Buzz's fault. Buzz is a shit.
When I watched it with my mom this year, she said the same thing. She didn't say Buzz is a shit, but she said like, "Man, I hate that Buzz is the one that does the thing in front of the choir and like humiliates him in front of everybody, but then Kevin gets in trouble." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's bullshit."
It wasn't even funny, the thing that Buzz did.
No, but everybody except for his mom and dad laugh, and I'm like, what's wrong with you people?
Stupid.
Like, I did solos when I was like Kevin's age. Like that would have been me. If somebody did that to me, I would have been like really upset. Especially if everybody in the audience like fucking laughs. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Also Uncle Frank is the worst.
Yeah, he's the worst too. So mean.
It's funny because like I've seen them both enough that I can watch them back to back. But like if you remembered, you're like, oh yeah, I haven't seen the second one, and you're like, oh, I'm excited to see this for the first time. And it is the same movie.
It's the same exact movie.
But it's also a movie that I will unironically love that movie for the rest of my life. I've loved it my whole life. It's much better than the fourth one. I can tell you that.
Oh, I bet.
Sometime I might show you that. But I'll try not to rage watch it. I'll just sit back and watch your reaction.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I kind of took over there. Please continue.
That's okay. So then the next day we finished watching Home Alone 2. Then we watched the new Disney Pixar movie Soul, and it was amazing. So good, dude. So good. I
really want to see it.
One of those like kids movies with major adult themes, and I don't really know how it's a kids movie, but it is somehow because it's kind of funny, and there's a lot of slapstick stuff, but the themes in it, the story is so good, and it's just the music is awesome. It's like a Black Mirror episode.
Damn.
It's so good.
I might go watch it.
I think you'll really enjoy it. So then that was the peak of the weekend, definitely. But then we watched this movie, the new movie on Netflix called The Midnight Sun with
Twilight?
George Clooney.
Oh.
Or The Midnight Sky, excuse me. I always get those confused because there is like 12 things already named The Midnight Sky and Midnight Sun and whatever.
Have you read Midnight Sun?
No, I read the beginning. I found the beginning of it on YouTube, but it kept getting deleted, so I haven't finished it. But I liked it, whatever. So I might get it on like an actual audiobook or the real book.
I wonder. I'm kind of curious about it. I wonder if she's gonna write the other 3 books also. Yeah,
I don't know. I bet she will. This one did pretty well, I think.
I'll just watch the movies again.
Yeah. We will be doing a Twilight Saga at some point, just so y'all know.
I wonder are we going to watch the extended cuts since they're free too?
Yeah.
I wonder. I think the first movie I have seen the extended cut, but not for... So they all have extended versions except for Breaking It Down Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird, because that's like imagine if there was like more of the battle. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, so The Midnight Sky, directed by George Clooney, starring George Clooney. I thought the acting and the directing was good.
Directed by George Clooney? That's cool.
Yeah. The story, no.
Too many George Clooney head tilts.
He just shook his head too much.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like a sci-fi movie, apocalyptic movie, and it was really cool. Like the VFX were awesome. The music was pretty good.
Cool.
And it was more artsy kind of ethereal vibes rather than a story-driven movie, but it kind of tried to be a story-driven movie, but then all these things happened that we didn't really care about because we weren't connected to the characters, and they were kind of like side characters, but were they? I don't know. It was just kind of disconnected. So I don't really recommend that one.
Good to know.
Yeah. It looks cool. Like all the visuals are really sweet, and the acting is good for sure. But the story didn't hit. That is all I watched. What did you watch?
That's a spectacular list. I watched some Christmas stuff too. I watched Christmas Vacation again, and I watched Home Alone 1 and 2 again, which I already said. I watched Bad Santa for the first time. Me and my cousins watched it.
Oh boy.
Only, I don't know, I guess my sister kind of liked it. One of my cousins liked it. My other cousins and I, none of us liked it, and I left like halfway through because I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, it's, no pun intended, it's bad. There is like an emotional connection that they try to make, but it's just, I don't know. It's like, I get that like the point of it is to be mean-spirited, but I feel like the mean-spiritedness was just there. There wasn't like a point to it, you know, because they also tried to be like, oh, he's a terrible person, but he has this one thing that makes him a good like not a terrible person. And then I'm like, well, okay, that's weird. There's apparently a sequel, so apparently it's got a big following, but I'm just like, I just didn't like it. I couldn't finish it. I went upstairs and talked to my aunt for a while, so that was more fun. On December 26th, I watched A Charlie Brown Christmas, because nice. I said I would watch all three Charlie Brown the main three specials that were taken off of TV this year, because fuck you, ABC. And Apple TV, you suck. I know it's not productive, but yeah, that's terrible. And watching it again, I just really related to Charlie Brown. Feeling kind of depressed around the holidays and being tired of the consumerism and also like just all of that. Like I just felt that so deeply when I watched it, and I'm like, man, all Charlie Brown wants to do is just like be a part of it, but he doesn't want to be at the same time because he knows it's like just BS. And I'm just like, man, I just felt that so much.
Yeah.
And then I watched Polar Express because I hadn't seen that in years. I know I've read, I'm trying to think if I still have the book. I think I do. The best version of the story, hands down, is the Liam Neeson audiobook. That's all you need.
Yes, I've been listening to that.
It's Liam Neeson reading the book, and it's magical. It's absolutely magical. But the movie, for what it's worth, I think is pretty good. The animation's a little and I wish it had just been 2D animated or in live action, because the weird motion capture they did doesn't quite work.
Yeah, it was like groundbreaking for its time, but now it's kind of like eh.
Only one of the kids has a name. The rest of them don't have names.
Really?
The main kid is voiced by Junie from Spy Kids, which I've always loved that he's voiced by Junie.
Nice.
When I watched it again, I realized I like some of the songs in it. Like, I like the song that's during the end credits, like, you know, the pop song, I guess you would say. And I like the one that the two kids sing. But the rest of the music, I just don't like. Like, the one that they say in the background when they're on the train is, like, really grating. And then the hot chocolate one. And then, like, the one the elves sing is just kind of whatever. Anyway, okay. So Polar Express is still a solid movie. But it's not what I need to watch every year. But I still think it's good. I saw it in theaters twice, actually, because I saw it with my grandma, and then we went and saw it again because when we went and saw it as like a class. Like,
I think we did too.
And then the last thing I watched was the Spy Kids trilogy because I needed some nostalgia. Twice. I forgot Bill Paxton is in the second one, and the third one, which is great. I love Bill Paxton. Rest in peace. Yeah, those movies are still great. Fuck it, I don't care. They're still awesome. The first one I watched with a friend of mine on VHS so many fucking times as a kid. So I had the first two on VHS and the third one on DVD as a kid. And now I have them all on DVD. The third one you watch in 3D, even though the 3D is kind of eye straining. You gotta watch it in 3D. The second one's my favorite. The second one's my favorite when they go on the island and they like have to like go through the Aztec cave and fall into the pit, and Steve Buscemi has his beautiful deep line. Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created here on earth? And I'm like, damn. That's deep. His arc is also great. But yeah, just I always love the second one the most. But all three of them are so nostalgic for me, and I love watching them. They only made 3 of them. I would love it if they made another one now. But also, like, they tried making another one, and it didn't work out very well. To be clear, I only saw the 4th one once. There's only 3 Spy Kids movies, in my opinion, and they're all really enjoyable. I still think they're good movies for kids to watch. I definitely watched them a ton as a kid, all three of them. I don't know if I saw the third one in the theater or not. I feel like I did, but I don't remember it. Yeah, I did, because the 3D glasses had a little strap on the back of it, like to keep it on, and then on the DVD, the ones that come with the DVD, they don't have it. But I bought it on DVD recently because my old copy didn't have the glasses anymore, and I wanted the glasses, so I found a cheap copy, like brand new with the glasses, and I'm like, why wouldn't I buy that?
That's great.
That was really fun.
Thanks for watching this movie this week, and so next week, our prescription is Terminator 1 and 2.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're kind of going off the deep end. Going very different from Wes Anderson next week, and we're doing a double feature. So, I have never seen them before. Don't tell anyone, but it's going to be
James
my first
Cameron.
time watching them.
I won't tell anyone. And it's a James Cameron double feature. And Maddie, don't look these movies up because both movies have some reveals that I don't want spoiled for you. So don't look them up.
I won't. First one is on YouTube for free and 99 cents on Prime. So if you want to watch that, you can. And the other one you have to rent, I think.
Second one you have to rent. For the second movie, watch I think it's called the special edition. It's a 2-hour and 33-minute cut. It's the best of the three versions, in my opinion. But also for James Cameron with Aliens, also, which is also one of the best sequels ever made. Watch the special edition of that. There's only two major James Cameron movies I haven't seen, and it's True Lies and The Abyss. I know nothing about it except for the title and some of the actors. I know it's really long. It's like almost 3 hours long. But the poster of that movie is one of my favorite movie posters of all time. That image has always been burned in my mind, and I'm like, what the hell is that diver looking at? What is in that cave? It's been look it up. It's amazing. It's so cool, and it's the image of the DVD too. So it's just like when I was in elementary school, even like I wanted to see that movie, and I still haven't seen it. But I was like, man, that poster just stuck in my mind.
Oh,
what is that? Like, what are they looking at? Are they looking at the screen and going into a cave? Are they looking at the distance and going into the light? Like,
I think they're going into the light.
because I always thought it was the other way around until just now, that they're looking into the dark cave. But I think you're right, they're going into the light.
Interesting.
And then there's some documentaries he did, but it's his 7 narrative features. But one of them's Piranha 2, so I don't think I need to see that. Okay, yeah, there are 4 Avatar sequels coming out. Can you believe that?
That's insane.
But it's from the guy who did Terminator 2 and Aliens, which are 2 of the best sequels, I think. They're 2 of my favorite sequels. So
True.
I hope that he does a good job. But also, you don't need to see Avatar. Just watch Avatar: The Last Airbender instead, because it's absolutely...
Not the movie.
Yes, the TV show. Watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show. The movie doesn't fucking exist, okay?
Okay.
You don't need to watch that fucking movie. That's not what I'm talking about. Watch the...
No, I like the James Cameron Avatar.
I do too. I actually like it a lot. I mean, don't watch The Last Airbender movie. Okay, I'll be clear. Watch James Cameron's Avatar because it's really good. Watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, because it's perfect. Don't watch The Last Airbender live action movie because it's a piece of garbage.
There we go.
There. Are you happy? Whew. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
There's a lot of avatars.
There are.
Also, there's also The Fifth Element, and then there's also Frozen 2, which is like a mix of Avatar and The Fifth Element.
Oh, is it?
Kind of. Spoilers. And now that we've run off the rails.
Yeah, so go home and watch Terminator 1 and 2. We'll be back next week. Hope y'all are staying safe, being happy in this new year that we have. Thank you.
Wow, we made it to 2021. We're alive.